Hello and welcome to A Day with the Cart Driver, covering every season of the decade.
For better or worse.
This season, better? Sorta?
I mean, probably a step down from last season, but...
Well, yeah, last season is kind of one of the iconic seasons of the decade, so hey. But yeah, I'm Scam.
I'm Day.
And we're going to kick things off with the Once in a Blue Moon first anime in... How long was it before he made a new anime?
Let's see, this was 2011, so it had
97?
been... well, the Utena movie was...
Oh, I forgot about that.
Was that 98 or 99?
I don't actually know.
Whatever. It had been over a decade since Kunihiko Ikuhara had delivered anything beyond stuff like he storyboarded the OP for
Nodame.
Aoi.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he saw
Aoi Hana.
Aoi Hana and Nodame Cantabile.
And yeah, so it's just bit work here and there.
And then he randomly shows up with this brand new show called...
Mawaru Penguin Drum. Released in the West as Penguin Drum.
Yes, because spinning penguin drum sounds kind of weird. Isn't that what Mawaru means?
I think it's straightforward.
Oh, maybe. Anyway.
Like, directions. Yes. Yeah, you might be right, though.
Yeah, either way, penguin drum. Because it had penguins in it.
Yep, it had penguins in it.
It was a trip, because that's Ikuhara, but yeah. It was kind of a reminder of like, oh yeah, Utena was weird.
Yeah. I do tend to think of it as, I do think it's slightly more accessible. Maybe? It's hard to say. Utena, there was more time for you to warm up to some of the weirdness.
Yeah, because Utena dealt a lot in repetition. Penguin Drum had some of that kind of repetition stuff, but it was like, its plot went all over the place.
Yeah, I realized that I think it's his weakest work. It's more interesting to me than I enjoyed it. There's a lot of, as a sort of attempt to meditate upon an act of modern terrorism and the impacts that had on a society. That's pretty interesting, and especially the way in which he does it.
And this kind of weird lost generation of kids and so on.
Yeah, but I think looking at his work as a whole, I don't think it's as cohesive or well plotted out as
it's absolutely. I think it's been so long I can't remember the ending, but I remember the time being very annoyed at it because of.
I really did not like the ending.
I don't know what you're trying to say here.
I specifically didn't like the ending because I felt like it robbed a couple of the characters of their agency.
Yeah. It was one of the most, just like pure on a surface level, like it was wildly silly and entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, just...
It was an interesting show. I didn't dislike it. It's just I like his other stuff better.
But yeah, I think it like, on a surface level, I mean, at the time of speaking... We've just seen the first episode of Sarah Manzai.
Sarah Zenmai.
Sarah Zenmai. The one with the kappas pulling balls out of people's butts.
And the dishes.
Yes. But Penguin Drum was definitely... I think it's definitely his most eccentric work. That's what we call it. It is... Penguin Drum had just weird... Like, Penguin Drum had weird stuff happening in it.
Yeah, it did. It was less obviously weird, maybe. It's sort of like... So the Utena movie.
Okay, maybe the Utena movie's weird.
No, because here's the thing. People be like, oh yeah, the Utena movie, it's way more, like, out there and everything than the TV series. No, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. I think it's much more straightforward than the TV series. It's just that some of the imagery and,
it takes it's complete abstraction. Whereas something like Penguin Drum isn't. Or any of his other stuff is.
So I guess my point is, sometimes I think with Ikuhara, when the visuals and some of the events going on seem to be at their weirdest, we're actually getting closer to...
Him being more coherent?
Well, straightforward. Again, like I said, I think the Utena movie really isn't that out there. It's just some of the visuals trick people.
It's just a character turns into a car.
And that's like, wow, that's weird. And it's like... Yes, but it's a more direct way of stating something they took longer to say in the TV series.
But yeah, Penguin Drum, it was a...
I will say this, I do think it definitely brought in a new generation of Not to say that people had ever stopped watching Utena.
No.
That kept being a thing.
It was still...
But I do think that it drew a huge category of people back in to look at Utena who hadn't previously.
Yeah. I was going to say Ikuhara's work. It's like, well, what? How many people went back and watched Sailor Moon as a result of this? I'm not sure. That was.
I mean, for that matter, yeah, people went back and watched Goldfish Warning. I love that show. But yeah, Penguin Drum.
That was that's probably the closest. It probably wasn't. I'm not sure how financially successful it was.
I have no idea.
I'm not even sure what the most.
I think it did decently in the West. I have no idea how it did in Japan. I'm sure it did better than Bear Storm that did, though.
Yeah, poor Bear Storm. Actually,
I was one of the people who bought the Japanese DVD release, okay?
The thing I think it probably did best, I mean, this is cheating a little, but it's probably Idolmaster. Because there was... There was a generation of... Like, it felt like
I don't know that it actually sold that well, though.
Did it not?
Because I'm pretty sure Love Live sold way more copies when it came out.
Love Live sold way more copies of it than everything else ever.
Okay, but I think Prince Sama sold more copies than Idolmaster. Okay. Because one of the things with the Idolmaster anime is that if you look at the disc sales, they're not that impressive compared to what the game sales are.
Yeah, the Idolmaster was already big. It's like comparing it to Love Live, which comes out later.
Yeah.
Love Live,
But Prince Sama sold in like the 50,000 range per disc.
Not only that, I feel like Prince Sama, it's actually like if you picked something from this season that was the most influential.
Yeah, probably.
It's absolutely Prince Sama, nothing else. Nothing else comes close.
It basically birthed this whole... I mean, we're still getting these boy idol shows, basically, because that show did well.
But boy idol shows, but also like the Otome game adaptations.
Yeah, it was kind of a reinvigoration for Otome game adaptations, because it's not that they didn't exist before this, but
like
we saw a lot more.
So like Cordo de Primo Passo.
Oh, God, or Angelique.
Yes.
It's probably the classic version.
Yeah.
And... You know, actually, I'm not sure if it started as a game or not, so never mind. And we had Hakuoki previous to this, but I think this is where you started seeing a lot more.
Prince Sama felt like where they were like, oh, girls buy anime.
It also, I think, a lot of the stuff that came after this had better production values than was typically the case.
There's still a lot of...
I mean, there's still a lot of ones with bad production values, but the same is true of... visual novels with adaptations that...
I feel like we get way more like male-dominated visual novels that have like primo productions.
But we also get more male-dominated visual novel adaptations, period.
But like, it's like, because Prince Sama was like reasonably well animated, but what else was there?
The first season, what really worked well was it was very colorful.
Yes.
It's perfectly acceptable, but the second season definitely had a kick up in production values.
Oh, is that so? I never...
Yes, because I think of it always in my mind with Symphogear, which also had a kick up in production values for the second season.
Yeah.
And before anybody's like, but why? Because at one point, Nico Nico Doga, I don't know if a lot of folks remember this, Nico Nico Doga is in the Japanese video site, did have a period of time where they were streaming stuff in English in the West. And Prince Sama showed on that, which was perfect because if you're familiar with Nico Nico...
It's got the scrolling comments.
They've got the scrolling comments, and this was really a good show for that.
Which is basically Twitch chat if Twitch chat was projected onto the screen.
Yeah. I really like Udapri. It's ridiculous. It's very cheesy. I also remember you were bored senseless by the first episode, but I did love it myself.
I sat in a Skype call with you and an Irish lady anime blogger who was equally just infatuated with it.
Oh, I loved it.
The pair of them were going, this is the best shit ever.
I will say this, though. My God. The uniforms in the show for the girls were horrible. Because they had this, like, navy blue striped blazer. I was like, oh, yes, I like this. And then the skirts were this mustard yellow and brown plaid. And it totally clashed. And I don't know who looked at it and was like, yes. But they should be slapped.
Yeah, there was a lot of things this season that, like, ultimately didn't catch on. I mean, one thing that actually did... And this was a nice break in tradition for what had been a pretty... Well, no, actually, Noitamina had done... What am I talking about? Anohana came out last season. But Bunny Drop AKA the one that no one wants a second season for.
I guess you could kind of see it as a shift a bit more back toward what No Itamura had originally been.
It is seinen rather than josei, isn't it? No, it is. It's josei. I'll take it back.
It is josei.
You're right, it is josei. Because it is like the primo example of, like, oh, this wonderful josei, and why are they all into fucking their dads?
I don't know what to say.
Yes, but Bunny Drop, the season 1, the only season in which they decided to not do the time skip. It's really sweet. It's really good. It's very adult and then like kind of it deals with a complicated subject of, you know, like no one wants this kid. How do you deal with being a single dad? How do you dealing with being a single mums as well? How do you deal with a parent who doesn't want a child anymore? Because they like dealt with that quite sophisticated? What's the word? Like delicately. They didn't villainize her, for example. She's just like, I can't. I'm not ready. Like, yeah, it was and I really strongly like Bunny Drop's really good. I like it a lot.
I'm glad you liked it. I didn't.
You didn't like it?
I only got to episode 2. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's my favorite show this season. I like it more than Penguin Drum.
Clearly my show this season was Udapri.
Udapri. And then there were a whole lot of stuff this season that ultimately didn't catch on. Like poor Hayao Miyazaki's son.
Oh, I mean, Poppy Hill did decently, and it totally salvaged his reputation after Earthsea.
Yes, after Earthsea, yes.
You know, on the other hand, it's correct that no one views this as an elite tier.
No.
Ghibli.
And he hasn't done anything after, I don't think. I think he did some like CG stuff.
Yeah, was he involved with...
there was a CG thing, I think he helped direct.
The Robber's Daughter?
Yes.
Rona the Robber's Daughter, or whatever it was called.
Because this is actually a quite good movie.
I loved this movie. Again, I would never place it up with the elite tier, but I really enjoyed this. It was a wonderful looking movie. I remember the backgrounds in particular. They were great. Although this was also the movie that I went and saw with my parents, because I always see Ghiblis with my parents, and I had asked anime fans beforehand, like, hey, I've heard there's some stuff that's a little bit questionable, like shading into incest type stuff. Is this okay? Like, this isn't going to freak my parents out, is it? And people are like, no, it's not there at all. And then we have a scene in which a character says to another character, after they've discovered that they might be siblings, I don't care if you're my brother, I'm still in love with you.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, for fuck's sake, anime fans! Like, could you be any more blatant? This isn't even Ore Imo where we're staring at her butt in the screen and you're saying, oh, it's about a touching relationship between siblings. No, she just said, I don't care if you're my brother, I'm still in love with you. Okay! Still a great film.
What was your mum's reaction to that?
Oh, God.
Something like, I guess Japan's culture is a bit different.
Yeah, it was something, and I should point out, it's not like my parents are, one of the things that's nice with my parents is that, in contrast to a lot of other people, I don't feel myself being like, oh no, what if when I get older, I get kind of conservative? Because my parents totally haven't done that. They've gotten even more leftward. But yes, Mom was like, well, there's different cultural values and things are a little bit different in terms of relationships. So my dad just didn't say anything.
Yeah. They liked the movie, did they?
They liked it.
Yeah.
They liked it, but that did throw them a touch of a curveball. They definitely liked it a hell of a lot better than,
Earthsea?
Oh, no, we never saw Earthsea. Ponyo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ponyo's one of those ones that you can look back on and think like, it had some cool animation.
It definitely has some fantastic visual
It might even be the best looking Ghibli movie. Maybe Mononoke, Princess Mononoke.
I guess it depends upon what you want visually, I suppose. It's good. Visually it's good, but...
I actually think Ponyo might be the best looking. It might even be better than Mononoke.
So long since I've seen
Mononoke
that.
might beat it, but yeah.
I mean, I saw Ponyo when it came out in the theaters, so this would have been 2006 or 2007?
Yeah.
Anyway, but enough about Ghibli.
Yeah. There was another movie that came out, which was Forest of Firefly Lights, which was basically just an extra episode of Natsume Yujincho, because it's the same author, exact same vibes. I think there was another season of Natsume came out this season as well.
Yes, I just don't remember. 3. Was it season 3?
I think so, yeah.
Probably.
I think I stopped watching Natsume around about season 4.
I watched season 2, and then it fell by the wayside.
Yeah,
it was fine. It's just...
Yeah, it's a nice show.
I'll probably watch the rest of it at some point, but...
I think I have seen enough. Unless they announce, like... Unless it ends, it's like, oh, okay. But at the moment, the fact that it's continuing indefinitely is like a... Like, if they finish the plot somehow, then I might be invested to go back and do it. Because it's I always enjoy watching it, but I always
I enjoy watching it. It's just...
Yeah.
There's no... Well, it's kind of like a... warm glass of milk type anime at this point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It soothes the soul, but it's not really heart pounding.
Yeah. But
which is fine.
So those were things that were actually kind of good, but never really caught on. Well, no, Natsume did catch on. Natsume was... Yeah. They got like 6 seasons or something. Something they didn't catch on was the other Noitamina show of the season. Number 6.
I mean... I don't know what catching on would have even looked like in this case.
I think people liking it.
Well, so a lot of people did watch it, but it kind of went off the rails.
Oh my god, did it go off the rails?
Folks, B-NATO, that's all I'm going to say.
B-NATO, yes. Then there was Blood Sea, which was... You know, I'm one of the few people out there, I feel like nowadays no one ever... No, like, it's almost mocked, as in like, oh, this is just what, like, noobs like... I don't know. Now I don't think anyone remembers it at all. But the original Blood the Last Vampire, I actually think that's
I don't think anyone watches it at all.
I actually think it's pretty good. It's quite a neat little...
I seem to recall it being well-liked way back when. It was one of the...
Yes.
It's one of those ones that was always on the shelves at Blockbuster.
Yes.
So, you
know. That's why I think it got a bit of reputation as like a noob magnet kind of thing. Like in the modern...
I am a noob magnet.
But I actually think...
I'm not a babe magnet. I'm a noob magnet. Yes. Oh, yeah.
I actually quite liked, but Blood Sea, which was written by Clamp, right? Or did they just do the character designs?
I think they just did the character designs.
No. It definitely is because they integrate as part of the Clampverse.
Oh, maybe.
Yes, they did. Anyway, Blood Sea sucked.
I think I saw one episode and it was like, this isn't really for me.
But then I think the thing that like, I will always remember, I see it in my nightmares, is the Blood Sea Death compilation.
Oh, God.
Which it turned, like, I didn't...
It's kind of gross.
It's extreme.
Can you not describe it in great detail? Because I do find it actively unpleasant.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think, like, ultraviolence in anime should, like... I watched Violence Jack. Actually, no, I watched a censored version of Violence Jack, so maybe that doesn't count. Yes. So while everyone else was going, oh my god, what? I was like, what? So yeah, but yeah, like I watched the death compilation and then like just felt ill afterwards.
It's just, I like horror. I'm not into, you know.
I mean, you watched like Another, for example.
Yeah, but that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, so like I think that
wasn't. The thing is, I feel like with Blood Sea, it was just a little too...
It was unsettling.
You know...
Just these dying bunnies.
In Another... Like, people have completely improbable accidents. It's just different. It's more cartoony. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just... I feel... Also, usually the people who die in it don't suffer for very long.
Anyway, I feel ill talking about this.
How about we could talk about something you liked, Kamisama Dolls?
Oh. I am the only person on the planet who wants a second season of Kamisama Dolls. I'm not going to pretend...
Didn't it have a good OP?
Oh, it had a neat OP. It was like...
Didn't the, adult lady in it, though, have really frightening breasts?
Yeah, she did. It was really poorly animated, but, like, I like that everyone in that show was just slightly psychotic. And I like the designs of the... Oh, they were properly psycho in that show. There was, like, some real psychos, and I really liked this concept of these, like, crazy doll things they run around and fought with, and I really liked some of the characters, and and I don't think the manga ever caught on. Like, the manga eventually never finished.
You know, I realized...
I'm the only person on the planet who cares about Kamisama Dolls, but...
I don't think you're the only person, but I think you are one of a small number. You know what it reminds me of now that I think of it?
What?
Shatterstar Naruto.
Yes.
Which also featured weird creatures that people just didn't really get, but thought they controlled.
Shatterstar Naruto, I think, is way more violent.
That's a pretty disturbing show.
Yeah, that's like Blood Sea levels of disturbing. But no, Blood Sea was just more visually. Blood Sea was more visually, whereas Shatterstar Naruto was like, this is fundamentally fucked up.
You know what it is too, though? In Shatterstar Naruto, the worst things that get done are by one person to another. Whereas in Blood Sea, it's like horrible creatures doing it to people.
Yeah.
So it's
It's different
types of horror.
Yeah,
and they're both unsettling for different reasons.
Yeah, it's called Kamisama Dolls horrors. It's not really. It's like the characters are unhinged, but yeah. Anyway, I liked it, but I was the only person.
It's okay. I still love you.
Then there was Sacred 7, which was one of the this is Sunrise, and they're one of their many attempts just to try recapture some magic, which they never really did. Some kind of like mech magic that they had.
I mean, I think Unicorn did pretty well for them.
For a thing that's not called Gundam.
Okay.
Because they had a lot of attempts this decade.
I'm now racking my brain trying to think of something else that they've done that's done well.
Because I think Blade did poorly.
Oh my god. Actually, there's a really obvious one.
What?
Love Live. Those are Sunrise.
That's why I was saying mech. I was thinking of things like Valbrave and so on.
Valbrave did decently.
Cool OP, I seem to remember. But yeah, Sacred 7, like the only thing that's notable.
Just remember there was the guy who's really into rocks.
Yes.
He loved rocks. And there was a girl with hair that I liked.
And the OP was pretty cool, and then the OP got even cooler when the fan subbers swapped it out for They See Me Rollin', because he rides around on a little, like, moped.
Sounds cool.
And then it got to fit stupidly well, and they were like, yep, we're putting this in as the official OP. Because that was back in the days of fan subs. Well, actually, no, because I think Crunchyroll was a thing, but they weren't getting much. Still, they weren't quite...
It was still in our early days of legal streaming, so
Yeah.
there was a lot of stuff that wasn't getting picked up. And there were also a lot of things that were... You know what, too? We didn't have worldwide streaming.
Yes, because
So there were a lot of shows that it's like, oh, we have it for these 5 countries and nothing else, and no one else has the license. So there's still a decent amount of fan subbing going on.
I knew a bunch of people who really liked...
Crossé in the Foreign Labyrinth.
Yes. I think there was a lot of people watching
it.
It's like...
Crossé.
But like, it
Ooh la la.
was basically French weebs.
I knew a decent amount of people like, oh, this is very meaningful, and oh, it's, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's many people nowadays. But yeah, there was a lot of people at the time who was like, I
Yeah,
really
who were
like this.
jazzed
And then they
about
just
it.
forgot it, I guess.
Well, you know.
Yeah. And then there was a lot of shite this season. A lot of shite.
Excuse me, Nyanpire was a work of art.
Okay, dear.
Okay, look, so Nyanpire would have been perfectly inoffensive and all that, but... So it was a short, and like 60% of the runtime for each episode was taken up by this really shitty music video that was the ending theme. Anyway, that was Gonzo.
Oh, gosh,
It was like the only
wasn't
Gonzo
it?
thing in a while.
Yes, God, poor Gonzo.
Poor Gonzo! They made their bed?
Yeah, true. Still, I can feel sorry for people who lose their jobs.
Yes, true.
Yuri is
Don't get me started about that shit.
Yuri has been weirdly long lasting. I feel like
The manga's still running.
Yeah, like that thing is.
I loathe it.
That thing is.
With my soul.
That thing continues, and like I see like references to it. Like
every time something like Yuri comes out, I feel this sense of like, what the fuck? Could you give us some actual Yuri? Not, girls with Yuri jokes or whatever that shit is. I really cannot stand the Yuri stripe of Yuri.
Yeah. And there was Mayo Chiki, which was the second most popular anime on Mal this season, behind Bunny Drop.
Well, Mal is known for its taste.
Yes. It's just one of those shows that like randomly large numbers of people watched.
God's Memo Pen and Dantalian no Shoko both probably fall under that.
Yeah, I mean, none of them are like, I don't think either of them, like I knew a number of people who liked Dantalian, for example.
Yeah, Dantalian's the one that a decent number of people are like, oh, this is actually pretty decent as light novel adaptations go.
That's one of the last things Gainax really made, because this was after... because they did Panty and Stocking a few seasons before.
Did Gainax do Book of Bentora, or is that someone else?
No, that was David Production.
Oh, them again.
Yes. Dantalion. No, Dantalion was the first Gainax show they made after Imaishi left to go set up Trigger, because coming up soon is Inferno Cop. Because Panty and Stocking, because Panty and Stocking came out a few seasons earlier. Yeah, and I knew a bunch of people like it, but this is basically like the last proper TV series they made for ever. Was there did they do anything after this?
I'm not a good person to ask, because Gainax is not a studio.
They made random shorts and like 10-minute long like magical girl things, but Gainax just sort of died after this.
Didn't it split? And there's like a Gainax East that's done some stuff.
I think they're trying to push it, but yeah, because the Evangelion people all left to form studios.
They do Studio Kara.
Which what's happened to the new Evangelion movie? I'm so confused.
Well, you know, I don't know if anyone knows, but that's okay.
Okay, it'll be ready when it's ready.
Yeah, look, Senko Roll finally got its second movie, right?
Oh God, yeah, that has.
So look, dreams really do come true.
Apparently so.
But God's Memo Pad, that also got a decent amount of numbers. It was one of those shut-in girl with horrible personality somehow manages to get this stupid boy to do all her dirty work. Yeah, I remember a lot of people watched it. And she was really obnoxious.
And then there are the shows that get you into jail if you watch.
Baby Princess!
Oh my God, Baby Princess.
This one's for you, Shinmaru. Hey, folks.
The way you call out Shinmaru there makes it sound like you're the person who would love to perv on babies.
That's not true, but he did watch Shinmaru. It's just because you watched all of Sister Princess and you blogged it. That was a service for which I don't think anyone thanked you, although I did send you the soundtrack because it was on sale for $2. Baby Princess is for people who watch Sister Princess like, man, this show's great. But I really wish some of the sisters in it were like 1 or 2 years old.
Yeah, it was every single age.
I think it was also CG.
Yes, it was every single age between 1 and 19.
I think there was a kid who was younger than 1.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say there's a famous frame of this somewhere that depicts a, like, 3-year-old calling someone her slave or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Then there was Roku, which...
Oh my God.
Which was the, hey, do you want to do a bunch of little girls wearing maid outfits playing basketball?
You're in luck.
Well, you're in luck. The best thing about Roku, though, was the compilations that would put a Roku girl like going for like a basket, and then they would cut it with a Kuroko's no basketball character just coming and going slam out of her hand. It was pretty great.
So I do think that a bunch of, if I'm not mistaken, a bunch of voice actresses who ended up being fairly big deals cut their teeth here.
Hanakana's in this. Well, she'd already had Emo, for example, after this.
Yeah.
Before this, which was probably her breakout. No, because she's in Monogatari as well. Because she'd just done the Renai circulation.
Yeah. So, that's kind of...
And then there was Manu Hikensho, which is the one...
Ooh, with the boob stealing! Was this the boob stealing?
Yes, this is the
I remembered!
This is the one where women, in order to assert their dominance in this warlike society, must chop the boobs off other ladies and attach them to their own.
Yeah, it was sort of like...
I don't... And that was this season.
Toriko?
All right, that was this season. It was this season. It had look.
There was some good stuff.
There was some good stuff.
There was Udapri. Okay, look, there was Penguin Drum. Penguin Drum was interesting.
Bunny Drop I really liked, and Prince Sama brought on a. Yes.
We didn't. Well, whatever. I was gonna say we didn't dig too much into Idolmaster, but It's not the end of the
whatever.
world. There'll be plenty of time for that shit.
Yeah, well, when Love Live comes around, we'll have all the time in the world to talk about Idolmaster. Oh.
Alright, folks. Please don't watch these shows and get arrested.
Yes. Are we going to sign us out with an Uta no Prince Sama terrible singing?
Doki doki baba da 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 send pak send love. Yeah! Are you ready?
Is that season 1 or season 2?
That was season 1.
Which is the one with the butt shaking?
I think season 2 upped the hip thrust ratio.
Okay. So we'll stick to the season 1 one for now with the awful singing.
Excuse me, it's great.
Okay.